Everyone, I'm Becky Goldsmith with Piece of Cake Designs, and I want to show you how to use the Quilters Applique Caddy. This is, we think, the best way to both store and transport your applique designs while you're working on them. Now before I forget, I want to show you on the back of the header card, right there, there's a free pattern for this needle caddy. It's the cutest little thing you ever saw, and you're going to want to make one. You can either find this free pattern at ctpubblog.com or at pieceofcake.com. I'm going to set that aside and open the caddy. It has a Velcro closure. So once you open it, you'll be able to pull out the 3 folios that are inside. Now these are printed with some very cute, we think, applique designs from Piece of Cake. So you'll choose one. I'll choose this one. You'll choose one and open it. And inside you'll see that there's a sheet of a sort of a thick interfacing material. Now what we do is take our applique pieces off of the design wall. If you're familiar at all with our work, what we do is mock up a block on the design wall. We get all of the applique pieces cut with their seam allowances, and we look at them and choose the fabrics and get the blocks exactly the way we want them to be. And when we've done that, then it's time to take them off the wall to sew. Now, rather than using a pizza box or a roll or who knows what, there's so many different ways people carry their applique, what we do is take the pieces off and stack them inside the folio. Now, we want to stack them in such a way that the piece we sew first, applique piece number 1, is on top of the stack, and whatever the highest number is, that would be at the bottom of the stack. Now you could stack the pieces one on top of the other on top of the other, but if you're working on a block with lots of pieces, you end up with a really tall stack. It's better to make a sloped stack. So you take the pieces off in reverse order, starting at the bottom of the folio and stacking one on top of the other on top of the other, working your way to make a sloped stack until number 1 is at the top of the stack. Now I'm going to show you how easy this is to do by taking a block off my design wall. I'm going to have to turn the camera off and shift its position so that I can show that to you. I'm back. This is the block I'm going to take off the wall. It's a vase of flowers block from our book, The Best Ever Applique Sampler. So I've got it all auditioned. These are the fabrics I want to use to construct the block. Also on the design wall and pinned up to the left, I have the overlay. Now my overlay has the numbers that tell me the stitching sequence. And I know, because I've drawn this, that number 1 is the tabletop. So that is what's going to be at the top of the stack that I build on the portfolio. The highest number is number 32. It's the flower center for the large flower on the left of the block. So what I'm going to do is look over here to the actual block and take that flower center off and place it at the bottom of the folio. Just like that. Now I'm going to look back at the overlay, and the next lower numbers are the circles there at the outside edges of that flower. So I'm going to take those off. They're all number 30. They're all the same basically on the wall, so it doesn't really matter which one comes off first or last of these. So I'm making a stack of these, and I'm going to put them on the folio over the flower center, but a little above it. Now, those little spokey things are numbered 24 through 30. And what I've got on the wall are audition strips. Those are going to be done with the cutaway applique technique. And in that technique, you start with a much larger piece and then you cut it down as you sew. But to see it on the wall, to know how it's going to look, I needed smaller pieces. So those shapes up there are actually going to go in the trash. What I've done instead for those shapes is number them, to trace and number them on this fabric. And when it comes time to sew them, I'll cut them off in order. And just so I didn't lose track of which one was which, I don't know if you can see it, I wrote off to the side which number was which on this piece of fabric. So now I'm going to put that in the folio. Just like that. All right, my next numbers, well, and first, before I move on, those come off. My next number is the big flower. That comes off. And then, let's see, 23, then this leaf. Now you've got the idea how it looks on the wall. Let me focus the camera down here on the folio so you can see how that goes. There's 22, then the vase is 21, and then the other leaf is number 20. Now you notice that some of these pieces, like the vase, more of it sticks up above that. But I know when I get down to this that because the leaf is on top of the vase, I will pull that off and sew it, and then I'll sew the vase. Okay, so there's 20, then 19 is that daisy flower center, and then the flower petals come off in a counterclockwise rotation. So here's 18. Let me see if you can see my hand. Yes, you can. There's 18, and then 17, and 16, 15, 14, 13, and 12. Just like that. And then the larger flower to the right, there's number 11, and 10, and then 9, 8, 7, 6. Put those like that. And then number 5 is this stem, and number 4 is that stem. I'm running out of room just a little bit here as I go up the folio, but that's okay because I can always do that. There's number 2, there's number 3, and then number 1, the big tabletop, I need to unpin from the wall, and it's a large enough piece that I will fold it gently and place it right there. Now, you can, once this is in here, you can make a note if you want to, either on the folio itself, or sometimes I'll put a sticky note here that reminds me what block this is, what project it goes into, maybe what date I started it, whatever works. Now, I always pre-wash my fabric, so it's got enough of a nap that when I pick this up and move it around, things aren't going anywhere. The fabric sticks nicely to the material inside the folio. If you do not wash your fabric, you might be just a little more careful because the fabrics can slide against each other more. But with this, I can treat this very casually. So there's one side of the folio full. I could, if I wanted to, stack another block's worth of fabric on the other side, and that would be fine. So there's that. Now, my background can come off the wall, and I will fold it along its center creased lines and either put it inside the folio with the applique or on this side. And then I will take the overlay and fold it as well to carry with me to sew this, just like that. And I'm going to put this inside the caddy, just like that. Now, you can also put your sewing notions in there. So I would put maybe my needle threader, a pair of scissors. I should have the cap on that, but I would put that on before I put them in there. And I would put the little needle caddy. Remember the needle caddy that there's the pattern for? This is what mine looks like. I'm losing a needle there. There we go. So you can put needles on one or both sides of the two pieces of felt. There's little pockets. So I put my little adhesive thimbles usually on one side. There's some others. There's a needle threader to use with pearl cotton, and I've got a little pocket for my toothpicks. So I would put this in here. You can, if you want to, put a full ring of bobbins, if you'd like to, the frostings bobbins. You can put a pin cushion inside there, or I don't usually need every one of these when I'm sewing on a particular block. I might just put in the bobbins I need with a bikini around them, bobbin bikinis to hold the thread on in place. And you close it up, and there you go, a nice compact way to carry your applique. I hope you enjoy this and you find this as useful a project carrying system as we do. Happy stitching!